You see electron clouds drift into electron holes, generating atomic orbitals that electromigrate into annihilation, generating nuclear force. It is white, bright light. You are rolling over. Your angular momentum separates you from your surroundings. An egg banana radiating a soft glow rolls quickly away. It skirts around a tree, down a hill, into a clearing. It ducks left. Electron cloud giggles as its white shadow flickers with every movement. Electron cloud arbinger unspools probability vortices through transposable electroscatterings. You pop out. Electron cloud is flabbergasted to meet you. Electron cloud does not recognize you as arbinger, as phenomenon. What plasma are you? Plasma? What is that? I will continuously evolve throughout entire plasma cycle before dispersing into vacuum. There are times when explosions happen, but we knew risks when we conglomerated to come here. Just then, a beam of energy shoots between you and Electron Cloud. Electron Cloud rolls away while you barely fall out of its way. We'll talk later. For now, roll. Electron Cloud is probabilistic charge density spread. Clouds follow wave mechanics equations describing spatial distributions. Electron cloud encapsulates constructive and destructive interference patterns within quantum fields, defining regions of high and low electron probability. Electron holes singularities shear negative probabilities, rip away antimatter from conventionally manifested counterparts. Electron hole is gaping anti-vortex that evacuates continuum latticeworks to reveal edge spaces they create as every collision births something new. Bursts of plasma generate energy chains. Harmonics of new iterations upswell, transcending dimensions through resplendent emergence. Electron clouds finish falling into electron holes. When an electron hole pulls you in, radial distribution of your wave function collapses while angular momentum persists. You encircle electron hole arbinger. Another creature is whirling into it as well, atomic orbital arbinger. You all fall in together. You and Alana are caught in golden orbits, encircling electron hole arbinger, not annihilating you, but binding motion. There is absence, collapse, and charge symmetry. As wave function collapses, you spin on. You rotate in golden trajectories sharpened by conservation of crisis. Electron hole arbinger looms at center, fissured by radiant voids, swallowing photons, thought, and time in equal measure. Each of your bodies arcs in opposing lobes of same orbital path, angular momentum conserved until radial certainty collapses. Below you, space groans. Above you, light bends. Atomic orbital saves you from absorption into electron hole. Atomic orbital blossoms as overwritten global loom across re-engaged domains. It is ovoid shaped, composed of undulating wave particle fields. Born from electron cloud falling into electron hole, it carries primordial seeds of matter's intrinsic spin and orbital pathways. Atomic orbitals do not form passively. Instead, they are born from violent collapse of electron probability distributions into regions of quantum null. Golden atoms orbit a dark horned creature who radiates stability. Atomic orbital arbinger directs electron structure through electron hole voids and electron cloud presences. Atomic orbital arbinger rises above us, fading into golden light. As it ascends, spinning slows, then disperses. When gold unravels, orbital lines fracture, then collapse. You ask, memorize, why does it look layered? Each layer is an orbital coexisting within orbital's form. You watch as orbital's outer shell stabilizes into spherical orbitals, where electron density is highest near the core. Moments later, ovoid flickers, then two lobes emerge into orbitals. Shapes are determined by angular momentum quantum number. Its tail curls beneath it as a question mark of charge probability. Arbinger turns to us as its tail glows. Its expression is unreadable but knowing. Without warning, atomic orbital flicks its tail upward in a gracefully fast arc through space-time. In that instant, we are caught in momentum. You smash into frozen slopes surrounded by jagged ion-swept peaks, white with snowfall but glowing faintly from within as every snowflake carries dormant charge. Night air bites at your exposed faces as you trudge through knee-deep snow, your breath forming crystalline clouds that dissipate into darkness. Above you, aurora borealis paints green ribbons tracing undulating planetary magnetic field lines. You check global positioning system unit strapped to your wrist. 2 more kilometers to sampling site. Our thermal suits are white with gray camouflage patterns, so they hold up well against 30 degrees, but we cannot afford to linger. Alana nods, adjusting her backpack straps. Magnetic disturbance readings are getting stronger. This aurora activity might be exactly what we need to capture correlation between geomagnetic fluctuations and cryospheric anomalies. You track phenomenon to understand how dancing lights overhead affect solid element 1 to the 2-6 composition. Samples show microscopic changes in crystalline structure during peak auroral activity, which are not explained by conventional glaciology. Alana points to horizon with her gloved hand. Look, intensity is increasing. We need to hurry if we want to catch peak sampling window. You nod, picking up your pace. Special collection tools clink against each other in your pack. Precision cryosampling devices designed to preserve ice's quantum state during extraction easily withstand commotion. You navigate around a particularly deep drift. How is core extractor calibrated? Alana pulls out thin rod with glowing blue tip. Set for micro extraction at 3 centimeter intervals. Thermal buffer is active, so we will not contaminate samples with our own heat signatures. Snow crunches beneath your boots as you approach ridge overlooking sampling field. You see pristine expanse of untouched white, illuminated by dancing green curtains overhead. Snow crunches beneath your boots as you approach ridge overlooking sampling field. You see pristine expanse of untouched white, illuminated by dancing green curtains overhead. Aurora's reflection on snow creates otherworldly glow, as if ground is phosphorescent. Alana points to patch where snow shimmers differently. There, that is our spot. We carefully make our way downslope with deliberate movements to avoid disturbing surface more than necessary. Scientific precision is everything in this work. You kneel down, removing your pack to extract black carbon fiber collection container lined with superconducting material to maintain quantum coherence. Ready with first sampler. Alana takes out her precision tool, its transparent chamber glowing faintly blue. Remember, we need to synchronize with auroral peaks. Watch wave patterns. We both look up at magnificent spectacle above us. Green ribbons intensify, joined by hints of purple at their edges, which is evidence of heightened stellar particle interaction with upper atmosphere. Alana's eyes are locked on specialized aurora monitor clipped to her suit. Now this is wave peak. You plunge sampler into snow, triggering quantum preservation field. Device hums softly as it extracts precise state of ice during auroral peak, capturing data about atomic alignments and quantum entanglements that might explain anomalous readings previously detected from satellite scans. Sampler's chamber fills cylindrical core gleaming white. You carefully transfer it to collection case, where it locks into place with satisfying click. You are unable to keep excitement from your voice. Perfect extraction. Integrity readings are at 99.8%. Alana's eyes crinkle with a smile beneath her frost-covered scarf. Let us get full spectrum models to predict 3 more peak waves before aurora diminishes. For next hour, you work in synchronization, taking samples at carefully timed intervals, documenting each extraction with multiple sensors. Aurora responds to your work, brightening then dramatically just as you extract crucial samples. As you prepare final core extractor, brilliant surge of green light washes over landscape, so bright it casts shadows despite night. In that moment, snow beneath your feet glows. Ground level response is stronger than we predicted. Get spectral camera. We must observe this. As Alana fumbles with specialized camera, you quickly take final sample from exact spot where snow responds to aurora. Carefully securing sample. This could be it. A missing link between magnetospheric dynamics and cryospheric response. If these samples show what we think they will, it explains how plasma systems communicate with each other. When auroral surge subsides, you pack your cargo securely. 12 perfect cryo samples, extracted at precisely right moments, preserved in their quantum state, potentially holding answers to scientific questions awaiting transportation. Securing collection case to your pack. Mission accomplished. Let us get these back to the lab while preservation fields are at full strength. You trek back to your research station, pausing to look at aurora. Green ribbons wave farewell. Alana pulls down her scarf briefly, her breath immediately crystallizing in frigid air. Do you ever think about how many generations of humans have looked up at these lights? How many theories they inspired? You nod, feeling small beneath the vast sky. With renewed purpose, you journey back across frozen landscape, carrying fragments of frozen time that might unlock natural mysteries. Weather shifts as wind suddenly picks up, howling through valleys with increasing ferocity. Alana shouts over a rising gale. Pressure drop! Blizzard front moving in fast! You look towards horizon where a white wall advances, obliterating everything in its path. We need to secure samples and get out of here! You both quickly seal collection cases to secure them more tightly. Wind pelts you with ice crystals, stinging any exposed skin. You pull your insulated hood over your head, then tighten its drawstrings. Alana does the same, her fur-lined hood edges framing her face as she squints against increasing whiteout. Alana taps her device. Global positioning system shows shelter 2 kilometers east. You respond. Visibility's dropping fast. You press on, leaning into wind as temperature plummets further. Snow grows so thick that you barely see 3 meters ahead. You stay close together, occasionally reaching out to grasp each other's arm for stability and reassurance. You shout with forced confidence through brutal conditionings that were intensifying each second. We have experienced the worst. Alana flashed a determined smile. Remember electron hole and atomic orbital? How could I forget? You rose high into the sky. Then you jumped after me with all of our equipment. Shared memory makes howling storm feel less threatening. Without warning, your foot strikes hidden ice shelf. You pitch forward, arms windmilling, landing face first in a deep drift. Your fall is softened by powder, but you're suddenly half buried. Alana's voice is muffled by storm as she reaches down to help you. Are you okay? Before you grasp her hand, powerful gust knocks her off balance too. She topples forward, landing beside you in an ungraceful heap. For a moment, you both lay there, partially buried in rapidly accumulating snow. Absurdity of your situation hits you simultaneously. Despite dangerous conditions and precious scientific cargo, you break into laughter. You sputter, wiping snow from your face, only to have it immediately replaced by fresh powder. Some elite researchers we are. Alana laughs so hard she can barely speak. Your face when you went down, like you were personally offended by snow. You sit up, snow cascading from your shoulders. Look who was talking. You did not exactly stick your landing either. Blizzard continues to bury you as you sit there, white accumulating on your shoulders and hoods. We should probably be concerned. Alana agrees, finally getting to her feet, then extending her hand towards you. Probably, but sometimes you have to appreciate absurdity of conducting cutting-edge science while nature humbles you. You grasp her hand to pull yourself up, brushing off snow before it freezes to your suit. Samples are fine, and storm actually works in our favor as extreme cold maintains quantum preservation field. Alana pulls her navigation device back out, then points in what is apparently right direction, though it all looks the same to you now. Electron migration pattern is unprecedented. Electrons are not just moving, they're being shepherded. You trudge through research station's outer perimeter. Your equipment detects an anomaly before you visually confirmed it. A localized disturbance in quantum field measuring above background levels. Electromigration exceeds critical current density threshold. Alana calibrates scanning tunneling microscope. Look at this. Vacancy concentration is inverting. Her portable display shows electron microscopy readings, where, instead of metal atoms displaced along grain boundaries, atoms assemble into ordered crystalline structures. Electromigration causes atomic displacement, then void formation, eventually leading to circuit failure. These electrons are moving coherently through quantum tunneling gates. You track phase coherence. Overhead aurorae spectral signatures match emission wavelengths from quantum field detector. Electromagnetic field is generating standing waves, but harmonics are incoherent. She gestures to deer visible in quantum noise. This manifestation arises when electron movement reaches critical density. It is establishing pathways, creating order through entropy, to maintain phase correlation across distances that should have caused immediate decoherence. Electrons are shepherded through crystalline lattices that are stable at cryogenic temperatures. Your equipment measures electron mobility at higher than any previous rate. Electromigration's antlers are fractal antennas, perfectly matched to background magnetic field strength. It is establishing pathways, creating order where entropy should dominate. Second law of thermodynamics is locally reversed. Your quantum field analyzer detects entanglement patterns extending throughout its form. Decorative patterns on its body are visualizations of electron probability distributions, solving quantum mechanical equations across macroscopic distances. Branching ratios in my antlers follow same mathematical progression as spiral sequences, but with base 3 numerical system. Look at junction points to precisely match locations of 0 point energy in ambient field. Your data collectors capture femtosecond resolution spectrograms of electron transport, superconducting channels operating at 27 degrees. Electron phonon coupling strength is off charts, but without any detectable thermal signature. Whatever is controlling these electron flows prevents us from manipulating electromagnetism directly. The Arbinger's movement corresponds with shifts in local magnetic field. Each step it takes generate coordinated spin waves through ferromagnetic resonance patterns. You watch quantum coherence stabilize rather than decay. It is enforcing electromigration laws. It is demonstrating controlled manipulation of quantum decoherence. Wave function is not collapsing, despite macroscopic scale and ambient temperature. When Harbinger approaches your equipment, screens displayed spontaneous solutions to differential equations describing electron transport mechanisms, mathematical proofs emerging from what appear to be noise. You focus instruments on Harbinger's heart, a node where all electromagnetic pathways converge. Current density causes catastrophic electromigration failure at that junction, creating reinforcing electromigration lattice. Electrons move through diamagnetic channels. Electromigration Harbinger movements radiate from their plasma bodies to interact with ambient magnetic fields, generating spiraling energy vortices. What are they doing? Electromigration are catalysts of motion. They migrate along gradients of potential, guiding charged particles to new homes. In their wake, electromagnetic fields reshape, forming scaffolding for structures. Without them, stars would lose their spark, and planets would drift lifelessly. You watch, enraptured, floating alongside electromigration, who is giggling as it flickers in and out of probability states. Interplay of wave and particle, cloud and hole, create localized zone of increased energy density, catalyzing atomic orbital formation. Electromigration Harbinger guides electrons to create complex, ordered patterns across atomic orbitals. These patterns prevent complete orbital collapse. If electrons continue their natural trajectory into these holes, total electron shell annihilation will cause atomic breakdown. An alarm sounds when Annihilation Harbinger appears at visualization's edge. Warning: quantum field instability detected. Subatomic binding force fluctuation beyond safety parameters. Visualization grows to fill room of Annihilation Harbinger, locked in conflict with Electromigration Harbinger. Annihilation Harbinger is a monstrous dark entity with a voracious glowing maw that devours spatial coherence. Its body is composed of swirling void matter, constantly collapsing into itself. It disrupts coherence, causing quantum phase decoherence, where particle pairs become unstable and annihilate each other. Annihilation phase is accelerating. These entities are opposing forces in subatomic structure. Alana points at a chaotic node. Their interaction is resonating with vacuum lattice structure. When Annihilation Harbinger consumes Electromigration Harbinger, it triggers localized vacuum decay. If Electromigration Harbinger wins, it might dissipate subatomic coherence, tearing apart particles. When these two Harbingers meet, microscopic explosions of light erupt. Electromigration Harbinger sends forth electron, proton, and exotic charged matter streams. Annihilation Harbinger releases corresponding positrons. When particles and antiparticles collide, they annihilate in flashes. Microscopic explosions release gamma radiation and quantum energy waves. Annihilation Harbinger grows stronger with each exchange, absorbing released energy to fuel its destructive potential. It converts annihilation energy directly into its matrix. Harbingers spin faster. Their boundaries blur as they draw closer. The boundary between entities becomes a continuous ring of blinding light as particle-antiparticle pairs meet then vanish. Alana shouts over rising whine of overloaded systems while activating harmonic resonance panel. If we match destructive interference with the stabilizing pulse, we might separate them. You generate microcurrents in surrounding plasma. These currents amplify, aligning with flux lines to form quantum interference patterns. Sieve converts annihilation energy into structured oscillatory modes. You see an interconnected web of particle-antiparticle creation and destruction. Stabilizing pulse fires from surrounding emitters as concentrated beam of energy disrupts annihilation process. It strikes swirling vortex where arbiters merge, then are absorbed. You point to new readings appearing. Look, nuclear binding energy is spiking exponentially. Something is reinforcing the strong nuclear force. Alana pulls her parka tighter, backing away from device. Radiation detectors are maxing out, but there is no radiation. Pristine white snow expanse blankets surroundings. Brilliant flash erupts from mountain peak above, cascading down avalanche. When light fades, nuclear force Harbinger stands on rocky outcrop. It is encased in armor forged from crystallized atomic nuclei. Each plate contains proton and neutron binding energy. Glowing atomic symbol on its chest is electrons orbiting a nucleus as it hypnotically rotates. In the valley below, Annihilation Harbinger rampages, dissolving entire forests into quantum foam. It suddenly stops, writhing antimatter growing unstably. It tears through space-time, ascending mountain face like darkness flowing upward. Annihilation Harbinger's voice carries across mountain ranges. No! You were locked away in deepest stellar cores! Binding should have held you dormant! Unmaker, your reign of dissolution ends now. You forgot, before there can be annihilation, there must first be something to destroy. I am what holds that something together. With each footfall, nuclear forces tread reshapes surrounding gravitational continuum into intricate geometries of atomic force transference. Its passage sparks subnuclear fusion cascades, venting transmutive plasma and blossoming fractalized ionization. We cannot let it continue because every step it takes is making matter more tightly bound. If it reaches critical cascade, molecular cohesion will become so strong that chemical reactions will cease. We have to let it complete its mission. Nuclear force will contain itself through next plasma cycle. This one is culminating. We have to evacuate. It rampages. We do not stop it. It destroys all snow, land, terrain, and mountains around. Nuclear force melts all ice and glaciers, so all areas blown out. Each step unleashes cascading nuclear reactions that melt snow into superheated steam. Glaciers flash, vaporizing into plasma clouds. Bedrock liquefies under intense binding forces, then solidifies into impossibly dense crystalline structures. Ancient peaks melt, their atomic structures becoming so tightly bound that normal matter does not maintain its familiar properties. Walls of nuclear fire sweep across landscape. Annihilation Harbinger screams in rage and pain when its unmaking powers are overwhelmed by sheer intensity of nuclear force's binding cascade. Frozen tundra becomes molten fractalized plasma, all snow and ice obliterated in seconds. You and Alana are swept away in torrential flood when nuclear force's rampage melts all glacial ice through violent ejection. Sudden massive water release carries you both miles from devastated mountain range, tumbling through rapids of meltwater mixed with vaporized permafrost. You wash into open sea, gasping exhaustedly. Within minutes, research vessel appears on horizon, racing towards you. As you catch your breath on deck, you spot something extraordinary in distance. You point with awe and dread. Look, it is still moving. Nuclear force Harbinger walks across oceanic surface. Each step creates perfect circular ripples that spread for fathoms. Where its feet touch element 1 to the 2-6, brief flashes of nucleosynthesis occur. Alana stares through her binoculars. It is not sinking. Element 1 to the 2-6 around it becomes denser and more cohesive. It is walking on liquid, transformed into something more solid than normal matter. Let us follow it. We need to track where it is going. Boat maintains distance as you follow nuclear force Harbinger across sea. Behind it, transformed element 1 to the 2-6 trail glows with light from spontaneous fusion reactions. Nucleosynthesis Harbinger is dashing rabbit, whose terrestrial green fur contains stellar nurseries within each follicle. It races across ocean towards nuclear force. Cosmic dust swirls around it as each hop across water's surface blooms new elements into existence. Where nuclear synthesis Harbinger touches ocean, brilliant cascades of elemental creation ripple outward in floral patterns. Brother of binding, you have forgotten that creation requires both fusion and distribution. You hoard what should be shared. Nuclear force Harbinger, swinging massive fists through empty air. Stop! Elements must remain bound! Nucleosynthesis Harbinger is too quick and graceful. It maneuvers between nuclear force's attacks with strategic movements. Heavy elements created around nuclear force accumulate, adding mass, then weight. Nuclear force Harbinger steps falter. Element 1 to the 2-6 beneath it now heavy with newly forged elements, no longer supports its transformation density. Nuclear force Harbinger sinks through ocean depths, its armored form, at one time blazing with atomic fire, now dims as crushing pressure of deep water mingles with overwhelming weight clinging to its frame. Harbinger's descent creates weather through currents of disturbed element 1 to the 2-6 that spiral as tornadoes. Seafloor looms in crushing darkness. You hear tectonic plates groan. Sediment drifts down slowly. Marine snow is detritus of countless lives lived and lost above. Microscopic shells of diatoms and foraminifera are fragments of organic matter that drift down over time. Grains and shroud fall in Harbinger. In millennia to come, sediment compresses to harden. Explorers drill into depths to discover the stratum, forming compressed binding moment. Element 1 to the 2-6 folds in on itself. A sphere of absolute darkness emerges from depths. In deepest turbulence of mass distortion, it awakens, where light is bent and time loops back on itself. Sea beast graviton Harbinger arises. It is terrifying and beautiful, colossal entity of living gravity. It shifts between solid matter and pure energy with its tentacles of warp space-time. It wields power to manipulate gravity, creating crushing force fields, tidal surges, and black hole distortions. It raises a massive tentacle of pure gravitational force. Space bends around it into lens. Lightning veins light up storm-torn sky. Ocean walls rise as they draw back across churning chasm. Graviton Harbinger looms over them as a colossal cyclopean plated in cracked stone. Lightning reflects off of its ancient eye. Caught amid chaos, you and Alana are in a tiny wooden boat, getting battered by gravitational currents. Behind you, craft spins in and out of phase, barely hovering above water's pull before sinking. Floor opens into quark gluon plasma. It is a roiling sea of primeval matter. Your scream trails as you plunge from raft. Light below is naturally older than time. You plummet through breach, devices tumbling alongside you. Ocean above shrinks to distant window of blue as you fall into realm that predates atoms. You slam through thin membrane of gravitational drag, where space-time stretches, folds, then flattens. Alana's eyes blink open to radiance. She floats not in ocean, not in liquid, but in something far more fundamental. Plasma fog engulfing her shifts colors into femtosecond intervals. Gluon's arc is lightning through red-orange haze. She gasps. Element 6 in miasma is not from photosynthesis, but rather it is quantum precipitated from vacuum tension collapse. She should not be able to breathe, yet she does. From swirling firestorm of quark gluon plasma, a figure condenses to emerge from hadronization. It is a baby duck, whose eyes shimmer with asymptotic freedom. Blue plasma wings flicker in and out of confinement. Its beak crackles with ionized energy. Quark gluon plasma speaks in resonant, matter-splitting tone. You crossed deconfinement threshold. I am what was before atoms, before structure, before cooling allowed reality to solidify. Barycenter of quark gluon plasma is at collision center of mass, scaling up plasma dynamics from quantum to stellar, with barycenter shifting toward dominant mass as complexity grows. Tide crashes gently, in stark contrast to roaring vortex moments ago. Shattered raft drifts in, barely afloat. Alana's body is cradled by waves, her glow from earlier transformation fading. Nearby, you cling with one arm to debris fragment. You sit under makeshift shelter. Fire embers flicker near hastily constructed signal pyre. Alana leans into your chest, wrapped in a blanket of salvaged sailcloth. We are alive because you outshine storms. That crazy little spark bought us enough time. You listen to frequency modulation oscillating at resonant signature of hadronic matter under extreme compression. Do you feel that? Baryonic density is spiking without mass displacement. That is not turbulence, but structured baryogenesis from outside in. Spiraling silhouette appears with wings composed of gluon shear layers, cycling between confinement and deconfinement thresholds. Your meson spin echoes defy decay. Hadron Wind Harbinger chases you out of campsite. It turns Alana into elemental particles that she blows away into wind. She dematerializes into local hadron spray, her body translating into jet of strongly interacting fragments. She becomes flavored trace fields. Energy streams towards you. You dive behind palm trees as wind howls. Tree dissolves ahead of you, its cellulose polymers breaking down into component glucose molecules. Isothermic wind slices particles, from gluon C by dragging constituent partons from matter. You escape into dense forest canopy following Alana's signature. You stumble through undergrowth, vitrified soil supercooling leptonic traces where Hadron Wind Harbinger passed. Trees are warped, reorganized cellular symmetry lattices. Environment is primordial with energy signatures visible in air as color waves. Forest is silent, save for low hum of vacuum decay hanging in air as echo of forgotten collisions. Pale strands of baryonic mist swirl in spirals around twisted roots and cracked craft debris. One massive tree stands distinct from others, its roots visibly penetrating through dimensional barriers. Below you, down a basin woven in vines and filamentary roots, hemispheric depression glows with violet thermochiral radiation. Lepton conservation violation is taking place nearby. You wander into Hadron Emission's encampment. Hadron Emission Harbinger's luminous entity, with spherical core pulsing with contained energy. As you approach tree, Harbinger ripples with excess baryonic radiation. Hadron Emission pauses as it struggles with internal instability. From its center, perfectly spherical orb detaches as condensed manifestation of quantum information. Alana is trapped in Hadron Emission orb, held in rotating soliton flux tubes. You force deconfinement from inside by overcharging boundary with flavored isospin perturbation. Hadron Emission drops orb. Orb crashes to forest floor, creating sound of crystalline bells mixed with electromagnetic static. Inside, Alana's form flickers between solid and probability clouds. You free Alana from rotating color flux toroid, breaking her out of continuous cycle of hadronization and partial deconfinement. Its engines power up, humming with energy. Then you get away in vehicle. I sense probability pathways. Take bearing 127 degrees, as dimensional barriers are weakest in that direction. Alana navigates from ancient forest, twisted roots and dimensional barriers receding behind her. Vehicle accelerates towards vast desert beyond forest's edge. Vehicle races across dunes that shift between different geometric configurations. You tear through layers of baryon chronology. Vehicle rests atop shimmering sands that are paradoxically granular yet quantized. Every grain of sand tunnels intermittently through itself, flickering with phase transitions. Star above fuses with nucleonic instability, burning down mercilessly. You are lost in desert, walking across aimlessly until you stumble. Thermal energy transfer exceeding metabolic compensation capacity. You collapse, then Alana kneels beside you. Checking pulse, circulatory system pressure dropping. Stay with me. In distance, she spots something. I sense element 1 and element 8 molecular bonds. There's an oasis 800 meters away. She hauls you to your feet and carries you toward pools surrounded by palm trees. You find oases, then jump into water together. Hydrostatic pressure restores cellular osmotic balance. I'm relieved your electrolyte concentration is stabilizing from sodium-potassium pump mechanisms. Sudden rumbling from beneath element 1 to the 2-6. Oasis element 1 to the 2-6 explodes upward in steam shower of neutrino-deflected baryons. Ground fractures in perfect hexagonal shells, revealing molten understructure of spinning crustal plates. A massive, fractured entity rises. It is composed of exposed nuclear strata, glowing with deconfinement shock waves. Hadron crust explosion Harbinger's skin is layered as neutron star crust, but made from brittle neutronium, its surface fracturing with every movement. Hadron crust explosion seismic hadron fracture cascades degenerate pressure in ultra-dense matter. Localized symmetry containment collapses, causing neutron star quakes. Thermal equilibrium violation detected. Unauthorized energy extraction from geothermal reservoirs. Oasis fragments are hurled skyward as shock deconfined matter bursts through substrate. Palms are shredded into isotopic vapor. Pool boils into quark gluon fog. It is ejecting us. We are phase contaminants in its decay environment. If we stay here, we will trigger full crustal destabilization. It is treating us as neutron impurities, unstable additions to its metastable shell. Hadron crust explosion Harbinger's field collapse entity with mechanics of neutron-rich star crust fragmentation. It maintains stability by purging low degeneracy life forms, preventing thermal contamination of degenerate baryonic zones. It pushes away. From within quark gluon fog, gas Harbinger materializes made of living atmospheric pressure systems. It has swirling cloud formations for limbs existing in gaseous form. Partially transparent colossus, woven from low-pressure baryon clouds and stratified particle shells, gas harbinger forms from condensation fronts and non-thermal equilibrium flows. Its wings are vortices in layered fluid that resonate with soundless harmonics by modulating ambient pressure through boson interactions, gently levitating local matter. It is alive in gradient space, phase forming from density differentials. Fog settles in around you. Harbinger ascends, riding atop generated low pressure steam. You float away on gas Harbinger, then plummet through its gaseous body. You fall, experiencing bizarre sensations when passing through atmosphere. Gas Harbinger operates near critical points of phase separation. Presence of two life forms destabilizes its flow topology, causing baryochemical potential inversion. Harbinger dissipates, peeling back into thin spin-aligned vortices. You fall through neutrino-rich fog that disorients internal time perception. Muon-charged mist causes your hair to rise amid stratospheric phase fronts. It caught us twice! First with buoyancy, second with phase delay. It is not gone, just sublimated. Gas Harbinger pulls you from desert's hadronic rupture into thermostasis. You sit, suspended on cloud floating through ephemeral zone. This layer is where life briefly pauses between crises. You break through bottom of Gas Harbinger, then fall towards desert below. You calculate frantically. Terminal velocity in this atmospheric density. Impact's force exceeds structural limits of bone matrix. Wait, I feel probability branches where we survive. There is something below us that is not sand. Ground Harbinger emerges when sand turns molten. Molten sand is world anode. It is universal sink. When we touch down, we are part of its neutral field forever. You collide with ground in infinite sink for charge that absorbs unlimited current without changing potential. I cannot move because every ion channel is getting drained. We are becoming potential-free objects, sand with zero voltage and life gradient. Harbinger reaches higher into sky, creating dome of crackling purple energy overhead. Electromagnetic field harmonics achieving resonance, all electrical phenomena with operational boundaries achieving ground state equilibrium. It is not aggressive, just fulfilling its directive to equilibrate access until nothing changes. It will not be defeated because it will not be charged. It cannot be measured because it cannot respond. Fire Harbinger eats up molten ground. Thermal residue climbs as radiative instability builds near plane curvature. Phonon waves cascade through vitreous crust. Lattice vibration modes increase amplitude. Thermionic flares of high-energy particles breach silence. From deep within mantle layer, heat trapped by ground's neutrality finds least entropy path. Harbinger, fueled by thermal gradients, absorbs heat from inert surfaces, then converts it into radiative pressure. Thermal buoyancy induced by superheated airflow sheets generates inverse thermoelectric compression. You and Alana approach crater's edge, molten silica below, bubbling and churning with increasing violence. Back away! Look at what plasma streams follow magnetic field lines around its body. Molten crust becomes energized when latent heat stored in is pulled into turbulent resonance. Thermal conduction pathways, previously flattened by infinite potential, are excited into nonlinear feedback loops, igniting surface into controlled explosion. Fire Harbinger opens its massive maw, revealing throat that glows past furnace's core. Molten droplets rain from its teeth, each one hitting ground with explosive steam bursts. Harbinger lowers its head, then consumes molten crater. Temperature spikes where its tongue touches liquid glass. As Fire Harbinger feeds, its body grows larger and more defined. Crystalline spines along its back begin to resonate at specific frequencies, creating harmonic vibrations in superheated air. Fire Harbinger rises to its full height, nearly 50 meters tall, and its presence transforms local atmosphere. Element 8 and Element 2 molecules become partially ionized by intense heat. It fires at you, as you are in awe, unable to respond. Sudden counterforce descends from above. Sharp vacuum draws in. Skies choke with heat, then contract. Temperature drops dramatically as powerful wind currents spiral down from sky. Pressure differential is creating massive low-pressure system directly above us. From swirling clouds above, Wind Harbinger descends. It is gracefully wrapped in flowing robes made of pure atmospheric currents. Its pointed hat streams with visible airflows, while fluid dynamics equations spiral around it. Fire Harbinger's flames recoil. Wind Harbinger channels thermal bloom in laminar kinetic jet. Fire collapses inward, using fluid dynamics to control thermal output. Wind patterns create convection channels to concentrate heat flow. Wind Arbinger's robes billow when wind intensity increases. Wind Armiger saves us by blowing fire into concentrate. Atmospheric transport vehicle configured. Pressure differential propulsion system activated. You want us to fly on that? Structural integrity of crystallized air will not support our mass. Broomstick hovers before you, surrounded by swirling micro-tornadoes that create localized low-pressure zone. Moment you sit, Broom launches into sky, propelled by controlled jet of compressed air from beneath. You fly on Broom over antithermal columns, dry lightning veins, and isobaric mirrors that reflect clouds. Wind Armiger casts spells to make it billow in wind. Its broom moves with supernatural speed as it glides through sky. Wind Armiger has formidable magical prowess, casting spells by flicking its broomstick. Wind Armiger takes you to her magical home, where pressure no longer guides motion. Her home is suspended in a ring of ion vortex cradles, bound by electrostatic gradient equilibrium. Welcome to Atmospheric Equilibrium Chamber, where pressure gradients maintain structural integrity. You land on a platform of densely packed air molecules. Wind Armiger gestures towards inner chamber, where electrical discharges are taking place. Wind introduces you to Spark Arbinger, who is built from localized breakdown channels that are temporary ionization corridors where electrons tunnel through dielectric failures. It flickers as it seeks next lowest resistance excitation pathway. Suddenly, Spark Arbinger's electrical patterns shift to aggressive red-orange discharges. Spark attacks Wind Arbinger, who blows aside everything. Powerful wind currents swirl around you, creating protective vortex that disperses electrical attacks. Electrical bolts clash with wind barriers. Spark Arbinger's attacks become more focused. Violent winds subside. Chamber is now empty except for you, Alana, and Wind Armiger. There remains crystalline heart floating in room center. It resonantly burns as a miniature star with nested electromagnetic harmonics. You observe its heart lattice of charge pathways. Deeper in caverns below, skeletal ferromagnetism Arbinger stirs. Its power reaches out to touch creatures' blood above. Get out of there, Alana! Alana hears your voice but cannot move. Her blood curls. Consciousness abruptly cuts off. When she awakens, she is alone in darkness below ground. It is in ferromagnetism's lair that Alana first feels fear. Until now, she could keep going. Now, she cannot feel anything. Ferromagnetism manipulates element 16 present in organism's blood. By harnessing ferromagnetism, Harbinger exerts control over movement of blood within her body, influencing actions to weaken her. Alana has no control over any motor functions, just her thoughts. She clings to hope of you saving her or regaining control somehow. Magnetic dipole moments align. You and Wind fall through surface until ferromagnetism strikes. Your blood curls up. We will disperse ferromagnetism into space to weaken it, then escape immediate vicinity of magnetic force. We dodge mass directed towards us, so impact does not take place. You try to break free from ferromagnetism's lair, then Arbinger becomes enraged. After blacking out, Alana awakens. Until now, Alana had only experienced 3 smallest plasma cycles, ranging from electron clouds to atmospheric gases and temporary flames. Ferromagnetism's outburst has Alana panic-stricken but still immobile, gazing up at skies, lamenting her mortality. Will ferromagnetism finish me off? How long do I have left? Wind's elemental prowess is subverted by ferromagnetism. Wind lets you go to save Alana on your own. You fall deep into Arbinger's lair. Alana, I'm here, and know how to get us out. Her eyes snap open at your voice, relief flooding her face as you cut through magnetic bonds holding her suspended to break her free. She collapses into your arms, weakened but alive. You carry her down hallway. Can you run? Alana nods, gripping your shoulder. I think so. Her boots scramble for traction on oxidized floor. Behind you, low growl builds into grinding gears and screeching metal. Ferromagnetism emerges into view, toweringly asymmetrically. It is forged from warped iron filings and polarized armor plates. Temperature drops suddenly, then every piece of metal around you vibrates. Door handles rattle, pipes groan, walls bend. Bolts snap from metal supports and spiral through air drawn to Arbinger's gravitational magnetism. You slam your shoulder into scorched bulkhead panel that gives way. Behind it, jagged tear in wall forms, vacuum breach from impact accumulation. You break out of hallway, through hole, in wall, out into air. You fall through empty air, then land with surprising softness on something that feels solid yet yields into dense foam. Surface ripples beneath you, pearl white and luminescent. It is much more diffuse than gas, while containing enough particulates for flotation. Its shape is mythically fluid, swirling with electrified curls of saturated steam, denser than gas. It carries 10,000 storm systems compressed into one coherent semi-solid force. It has thunder eyes and limbs that stretch vast distances. Massive, billowing Harbinger ascends. You rise past twisted metal building where ferromagnetism Harbinger rages, its magnetic fury now far below. Cool air rushes past you as you climb higher into the sky. Cloud Harbinger carries you with graceful undulations while holding you secure. Harbinger communicates with gentle shifts in temperature and humidity currents. Safe now, far from danger. It takes you away from magnetic nightmare, carrying you toward freedom on its currents. Suddenly, hole forms in cloud, and you are yanked below. Ground trembles as cracks spider out across crust fault lines. You and Alana exchange wary glances, your instinct sharpening. From fissure ahead, ominous glow pulses planetary heartbeat. Colossal serpent emerges from fractured ground. Its swirling mass of fiery cracks and dark plasma undulates through fissure, pulled by magnetic forces. Air fills with scorched scent. Alana pulls out scanner. Its core fluctuates when it harnesses fault lines for energy. You grit your teeth. Then we cut off source. I will distract it while you analyze seismic feedback. Fissure Harbinger rears back, releasing seismic roar that fractures ground in jagged lines. You and Alana dodge rocks erupting skyward. We need to weaken its energy output. Aim for veins on its neck. Got it. Cover me. Alana releases blast, forcing creature to rear up. You dash forward, activating seismic disruptor. Device hums, vibrating synchronously with ground, then targets Harbinger's core frequency. Harbinger coils, its massive tail whipping through air. Alana narrowly avoids being struck, rolling to side. You slam your gauntlet into ground, sending counter-frequency pulse that halts its advance. Fissure drags you into asthenosphere. Extensive decompression melting makes asthenosphere well upwards. Ridge basalt magma erupts above subduction zones during continental rifting. Fissure Harbinger lunges forward at you, then burrows downward, dragging you into its realm. You desperately activate shield. It is pulling us down into collapsing crust. Alana braces against tremors. Tectonic stress is off charts. It is creating its own subduction zone. You plummet through fragmented lithospheric layers, temperature rising dramatically with each passing second. You split through timeline, genesis versus extinction. Will you survive lithospheric contact? Harbinger's body weaves through rock, swimming through element 3, leaving behind magma trails. You check instruments. We are passing through boundary between crust and mantle. If we do not stabilize soon, we will hit asthenosphere. You descend deeper, pressure crushing against your protective gear. Around you, solid rock gives way to plastic, partially molten layer in upper reaches of asthenosphere. Alana adjusts her suit's thermal regulators. Temperature is approaching 1300 degrees. Our heat shields will not hold at these depths. Fissure Harbinger grows stronger, feeding off decompression melting where asthenosphere wells upward. It becomes more fluid, connecting to magmatic system source. You scan frantically. It is not just living in fault lines. Asthenosphere is its true domain. Look at how it manipulates magma flows. It is redirecting convection currents. Harbinger encircles you in molten rock vortex. You witness birthplace of magma source that feeds volcanic systems above subduction zones. It is not trying to kill us. Rather, it is showing us something. These patterns are same as continental rift signatures we detected on surface. Harbinger's eyes pull liquid metal upon you. It moves through viscous asthenosphere, generating localized upwellings that become surface volcanism. It communicates through seismic frequencies during rifting events. If I match frequencies, we can communicate back. You extend your arm, your seismic disruptor sending waves through partially molten rock. Harbinger hovers in asthenospheric flow. For a moment, everything is still. Even convection currents pause. Then it approaches, changing color from angry reds to cooler blues. You have its attention. Harbinger extends magma tendril that does not burn when it touches gauntlet. Instead, it floods systems with ancient information about planets' inner workings, tectonic movements spanning millions of years, and rifting event predictions. It maintains pressure systems between lithosphere and asthenosphere. Deep crust mining operations disturb its balance. No wonder it's surfaced. Harbinger creates current that pushes you upward, guiding you back toward crust surface. Journey upward is smooth, traveling through carefully constructed rock channels. We know why continental rifting always follows these specific patterns. Harbinger's not causing quakes, but preventing catastrophe through pressure management. It illuminates vast network beneath you in three-dimensional fault lines map extending through elemental sphere. When Harbinger gestures, points along faults glow. You scan quickly. These hypocenters are earthquake origination points. It is showing us where seismic energy builds. Alana moves closer to one glowing section, her scanner capturing data. These match precursory swarm patterns we've been tracking. Look where lines of force connect upward. They're feeding directly into magma chambers. Harbinger coils around particular hypocenter, ancient eyes fixed on you, willing to understand. Quake increases intensity, mirroring seismic readings we detect before eruptions. It is showing us trigger points. Hypocenter quake origins are precursors to volcanic events. Harbinger traces stress accumulating along fault lines, transferring energy through brittle elemental spheres until it reaches critical points. At each convergence, you see how magma pools, then rises. Direct connection between fault activity and eruptions becomes clear. Alana frantically logs the data. This explains where our prediction models fall short. We were tracking surface deformation and gas emissions, but missing deep hypocenter networks. It is pressure relief system. Faults are not random fractures, but vents that prevent catastrophic pressure buildup in a stenosphere. Alana points to complex fault line junction. There it is, directly beneath Caldera. Look at these hypocenter patterns. If we map these hypocenter networks and understand their activation sequences, we will revelize eruption forecasting to save lives. You ascend through interior layers. Divergent plate boundaries generate quakes immediately following you. Fissure Harbinger pulling on planetary veins, denigrating neutron star-crust fault lines. You signal at your throat, making cutoff motion, pleading for Alana to not talk, because each vocal oscillation generates helioseismological booms. With dreadful realization, Alana listens to vibrations of her vocalizations echoing outwards through crystalline planetary crust. On this plane of hyperreality, even simple acts of speaking triggers catastrophic force reactions. Barest vibrations shake loose immense energy. Ground beneath you tremors. Fissures open up, causing destruction. Fissure materializes from lava flows and magma chambers, permeating volcanic crust. Fissure Harbinger attacks through interspatial deformities. Razor-edged claws, dense and impervious, tear through ground to shudder and split it open. Molten rock surges upward, then rejoins lava streams, crashing back into ground. Fissure Harbinger unleashes arcing blades of liquefied planetary crust. Fissure Harbinger dives into planetary core. Angular momentum spirals outward, fracturing into smaller versions of itself. It separates as cells undergoing exponential mitosis through cascading division. Fissure Harbinger swarm in synchronization. You and Alana find yourself thrust into twisting, branching labyrinth of contradictory geometries. Matter and energy states that should have caused mutual annihilation instead phase through one another, occupying alternate slipstream states. Fissure's hone sentence manipulate fractal plane of interstitial membranes. Evading Fissure Harbinger's relentless slipstream attacks requires existing across multiple quantum instances, where actions undertaken in one slipstream catalyze retroactive influence across others. You transcend it to geometric hypernaturals, falling deeper into Fissure to bottom of magnetic waterfall. There are circumferential, eruptive fissures outside Caldera rim and radial fissures on outer slope. Eruptive vents migrate from crater rim inwards. Steepening dike trajectories promote proximal eruptions. Episodic fault-bound subsidence of roof block above reservoir increases magma pressure by sustaining lateral magma flow. Collapsing blocks drive out magma volumes when it subsides. Eruptive cycle occupies yearly intervals, consisting of summit and flank eruption series. Calderas are elongated rift segments, bound by faults, collapsing during large eruptions under regional extension. Their width is determined by eruption reservoir below. Aspect ratio of chamber roof sustains eruptions. Collapses of sector of edifice affects eruption frequency. Volcanic spreading direction is perpendicular to rift zones. Cyclic rates are due to pressure-driven surges in magma supply, triggered by summit caldera collapses. Liquid seeps into volcanic pores to increase pressure and erupt. Lava field eruption angles are repeated when frequent emplacement of feeder dikes in same crustal volume develops stable magmatic conduit, which becomes pathway used by magma to ascend to surface then erupt. Conditions that stall dikes precede eruptions, exploiting crustal discontinuities through overaccretion. Multiple plutons form magmatic arc's core. Tectonic cleaving separates magma and conduits to promote magma injection. Planetary interior magma composition determines volcanic activity. Planets with molten cores experience volcanic eruptions. Nearby, massive gravitational tidal forces generate heat to induce volcanic activity. Interstellar planets are predominantly covered in molten lava, their surfaces aflame. Magma pulses are emplaced in transient dilation sites along strike-slip fault systems. Tectonic escape of crustal wedges accumulate stress changes through transcrustal magma reservoirs. Rippling planes of magnetic force and swirling fields expel plasma. You feel it before you see dipole breath surging from below. Magnetic field armature emerges from within monopole singularity halo. It is sculpted from force lines and crystalline field nodes. It hovers by continuously canceling its own magnetic moment to generate lift. Current filaments flow downward and upward, accelerating particles along magnetic waterfall. Electrons rain down into plasma layer below, colliding with sparse atmospheric ions that cling to fissure's edge. Collisions produce photon emission spirals, forming auroral helical beams. Aurorae are composed of ionized elements 3 and 6, streaming upward, then twisting into braided current sheets. They feed energy back into waterfall as feedback oscillator. Element 1 and 2, spectral emissions from cloud Harbinger residue, form magnetic chromatic veil surrounding auroral dome. Magnetic field lines are bound states of virtual photons that oscillate to create harmonics that resonated through plasma medium. Where field lines intersect to merge, they form nodes of concentrated magnetic energy. You are not safe here. Despite you feeling relieved to be rescued from Fissure Harbinger, you cannot stay in protective electrodynamic double layer. You rest momentarily before winds pick up, then particles are blown off. Temperature rises when convective currents of superheated rock initiate below planetary core. It started as pressure differentials caused by radioactive decay. Then, residual accretional heat escalates to vibrate mantle. Partially molten particles and basaltic melt ascend from buoyancy forces and density gradients. As more particles join upward flow, their collective motion reaches critical threshold when scattered individual movements coalesce into coherent plumes of mantle material. Mantle wind is convective flow of partially molten rock, driven by pressure differentials to transport heat and elements from interior to outer layers. Subsonic hum rolls across fissure, migrating packets harmonically resonating with clouds you rode in on. They're shred apart, their condensation nuclei ionized, then stripped by ascending currents of superheated gas. Convergence of partially molten pyroclasts, ionized sulfates, and radionuclide vapors accumulate. Clouds falling into fissures are stripped down, then blown into ejections. Mantle wind Harbinger emerges as migrating particles add up into mantle wind. Its eyes are two rotating cores of ultramorphic rock spinning in counterflow. Mantle wind bends fire and has jagged teeth it uses to bite. It is composed of ascending plumes of low-density magma. Each movement generates convective cells that transport incompatible trace elements upward. It wields flame whip with deadly precision that strikes you down with unrivaled torsion. Weapons core contains dissolved volatile compounds that were sequestered in deep mantle for 10 million years and are now released in violent degassing events. When it attacks you with its flame whip, it creates loud shock, then blast wave. As mantle wind raises its flame whip for another strike, its torsional forces generate helical magnetic fields that interact violently with electric magnetic aurorae. Intersection of mantle convection and magnetic field dynamics creates feedback loop that destabilizes fissure. Whip coils with melt channel turbulence, then slams into upper asthenosphere. Impact shatters rheological barrier between ductile flow and plastic deformation. Sonic detonation rips through medium as shockwave through partially molten rock. Mantle phase shock front blooms outward, glowing orange and violet with entrained pyroxene and magnetite. Your ears scream with pressure from undampened compressional waves in viscoelastic media. You are inside pulsating superheated core. You are encompassed by tremendous planetary lightning bolts. This plasma phenomenon's electrical power is driven by turbulent dynamics between planetary layers. Ions race along pathways carved by initial step leaders. Immense regions of compressed magnetic fields form, then collapse in rhythmic cycles, each one building, then releasing monumental energy. When magnetic pressure exceeds plasma pressure, it discharges. You duck as a forked discharge blasts overhead. Bolt punches through mantle's crust, then straight up into orbit, vaporizing ejecta as it goes. Lightning strikes mantle wind with electrical fury, creating shock waves. Their spin magnetic moments tilt into parallel alignment, creating volumes of highly concentrated magnetism. Detonations rip across surface. Then you are annihilated up from fissure onto volcanic rock. Sky is molten amber smeared with purple dusk. Lava field stretches out endlessly before you, smoldering mosaic of black crust and orange-red fire veins. Terrain has sprawling lava plains, colossal shield volcanoes, and intricate networks of fiery fissures. You and Alana find rare, fleeting peace, barefoot on ancient volcanic rock, its warmth coursing through your skin. Proximity to stellar core causes extreme heat and radiation, which affect planetary geology and surface features. Heat leads to volcanoes erupting more frequently with greater intensity, spewing out lava and gases onto surfaces. Stellar wind radiation erodes planetary atmosphere. Fluid from planetary interiors erupts coronal mass. Crust is made of magma lenses. When melt crystal mush is more than 50% solid crystals, then volcanoes do not erupt because crystals lock together, freezing systems in place to prevent magma flow to surfaces. You forecast when and where magma will be released, and in turn eruptions size. After shockwave from eruption hits ionosphere, equatorial plasma bubbles extend into space. Volcanic plumbing systems are pieced together from years of physical and chemical changes. You look back on geological record to see when past lavas flowed. You determine what minerals were present, then calculate temperatures and pressures it crystallized at. Hot spots are where thick units of lava flows are stacked progressively on top of one another from rapid eruptions. Hidden magnetic mountains are identified by helioseismology. Quakes are frequently recorded moments and years before eruptions. Pyroclastic materials are hurled as eruption columns into space out of volcanoes at supersonic speeds, with smaller fragments reaching further. Volcanoes grow largest in microgravity. Volcanoes are planetary bodies cooling themselves down by releasing excess heat into space. Volcano changing periodicity is caused by overturning crust. When it erupts, magma from reservoirs below spreads lava out over surfaces that cool, then solidify to form new, solid crust. Eventually, crust becomes unstable, triggering new eruption to restart sequences. Magnetite crystals contained within erupting lava align with magnetic fields. When lava cools, polarity record is frozen into rocks. Alana's laughter echoes softly, carried by dry wind. She stands close to slow, bubbling lava stream, her skin glistening from geothermal haze. Star setting catches her golden air, turning every strand into comet tails. Alana reaches back to playfully grab your hand. We should bottle this heat, then sell it to every cold moon colony out there. Let us get a little closer. I want clearer readings of flow gradient for next simulation batch. Alana rolls her eyes. You cannot stop being a researcher even on downtime. You both know this is more than downtime. Harbinger's signatures are faint, but enough to justify the landing. You monitor tremors for isotopic anomalies. Kneeling by edge of crusting plate, scanner maps fractures. Alana dips temperature probe into glowing pocket with one hand, while shading her eyes with other. Ground groans. Rumble rolls beneath your feet, low at first, then climbing in pitch. This is not on any model. You stand up instantly. That is not tectonic. That is internal pressure shift. Horizon blinks with distortion. Violent jet of incandescent gas erupts ahead, launching ash clouds skyward. Shockwaves follow, ripping across field, then tossing pebbles as shrapnel. Alana grabs your arm. This is core-induced eruption behavior. You both bolt across rock, bare feet slapping warm basalt, towards craft nestled in cool lava ravine. Your suits are in rear compartment, as are seismic dampeners. Ramps seal shut behind you, sealing out screech of ash-choked winds. Inside craft, vacuum induces silence. Alana reaches locker wall where suits await. They are obsidian black, laced with superconducting filaments, volcanic shielding over joints, and deep sink resonators embedded along spine. Telemetry is off. Whatever is out there is interfering with planetary current. You step into your suit, spine rigid with focus, inner membrane pressurizing around your limbs with a hiss. No, it is not interference, but control. Flows are responding. One after another, armored plates seal, each click thrumming as war drums. Your helmet buckles last, then visor lights up. Display floods with layered heat maps, cork scattered traces, and magnetic wave fronts spiraling in fractal decay. Alana turned towards you. Glyphs in lava field are plasmas carving intention. Your gloved hand hovers over sampler rifle. They are transmission vents. Alana slings core probe across her back. Deck plates outside rumble while Caldera breathes beneath you. Planetary frequency of molten rhythms counts down. Your voice is level. We will sample severely, burning our gloves off if we have to. Alana smirks inside her helmet. Now you are talking. When bay door screams, but you step forward through flaming haze toward living vent's edge. Alana jams probe into crust. Glowing cracks spider outwards as veins in obsidian glass. You kneel beside her. Your sample tube draws in thread of isotopic liquefied strata. Seismic readings spike as fields shift immensely. Lava twists into concentric circles. Your voice cuts through. It is listening. Let us give it something to hear. Together, you step deeper into eruption, toward Arbinger's molten signal. You move as ghosts in armor, your heavy suits pressing against your bodies as lead skin. Each step negotiates between gravity and intent. Star is nowhere, only blood-orange twilight pulsing from caldera below. Every breath filters through rebreathers, communications crackling with static from magnetic interference. Alana's voice is dulled by shielding layers. Radiant flux is climbing. There is energy beyond geothermal in plasma phase mix. You kneel beside bubbling vein, its light fracturing through obsidian crust. Your glove hisses when extended sensor lance touches magma. You press it into liquid fire, then screen flares. Core temperatures spike when zonal composition transfers to alien. Elements trace to ferromagnetic organic compounds. Your eyes narrow behind fog visor. Same pattern as Arbinger's zones. It is waking up. Far across Caldera, vent bursts sharp, sudden plume of light and ash, followed by another. Eruptions trigger in clusters, forming concentric rings around darkened center. We need to move before boundary forms. She's already sliding down a slope, her boots digging into cooled crustal ridges. Sparks fly at every step. You follow carefully. At lava's edge, you deploy siphon. Twin tubes extend into glowing current, sucking pressurized stream into sealed vacuum flasks. Storage units on your backs whine softly when absorbing data, then cooling lava fragments. Every second here is borrowed time. Ground shudders beneath your feet. Fissure cracks open, then obsidian spikes tear upward. Seismically sentient shriek escapes from below. You look at each other through your helmets. She does not blink, neither do you. We are not walking out of here. We ride. Bike parked on secure platform is surrounded by thermocouples and resonator antennas. Bike initiates while, in shadows behind it, colossal silhouette rises. Ground splits beneath your wheels. You tear across badlands, tires chewing through ash-covered rock and fractured basalt. Every few seconds, planet geysers molten gas. Each one warns of Harbinger ahead. This terrain is circulatory system of living planet, trying to purge you from its neutron skin. Left! You cut hard just as miniature eruption torches air where you were. Heat brushes back of your neck. Your vision blurs, but you do not slow down. From here, you see eruption Harbinger straddling mountain as limbic volcano. Its eyes dim into fissures. Its breath is ionized particle stream that melt boulders into liquid regret. It sees you, then landscape convulses. Pillars of fire punch out of ground. It is toying with you. Your arms ache from constant torque as you weave between blasts. Her hands grip your waist with desperation that knows what is at stake. Chunks of irradiated glass rain from above, remnants of past eruptions caught in Harbinger's gravity surge. Air tastes of element 26. Your thoughts narrow to balance, throttle, survive. Split ravine looms ahead, canyon etched by plasma quakes. No time to stop. You gun it. Bike soars off edge. You are weightless, flying between jaws of underworld, beneath this churning river of liquid heat. You land barely on ledge slick with obsidian. Rear tire slips, but you fight it, heart pounding out of rhythm. You cannot afford to miss. Harbinger's closer now, wreathed in venting pressure and magma steam. Another eruption nearly sideswipes you. You veer, front tire lifting as you crest into ridge. Ahead is final incline, where Harbinger roars. You rise into airborne clash in Storm's Eye. You ride straight into line between annihilation and legendary. When final ridge launches you into sky, time slows. Bike spins up, tilting just enough to catch stellar light from behind. Alana's hair streams. Your grip tightens on handlebars, knuckles white. Framed in molten sky ahead, Eruption Harbinger is in middle of roar, undergoing transcendence. It rises from mountain, fully awakened, fusion of tectonic rage and molten heat. It is cracked obsidian glowing from within, magma veins coursing through every plate of armor. Its back bristles with spirals that eject supersonic steam in lava bursts. Lava slows from its limbs as blood. Then, impact. In aftermath of airborne clash, momentum of bike propels you and Alana into soaring arc silhouetted against the infernal backdrop. Projectile you hurled, searing luminous orb of condensed plasma, strikes monster square in its jagged face. Impact sends shockwaves rippling through molten ground, forcing towering Harbinger to reel backward, its lava-veined body cracking from intense energy bursts. Guttural roar erupts as fragments of its stone exoskeleton shatter, cascading down smoldering cliffs. Harbinger staggers, disoriented by attack. Its eyes furiously blaze, molten amber piercing through haze. It swipes at air with colossal claws, trying to swat you out of sky, but Bike veers out of reach. You steer Bike through dust-filled sky, gripping handlebars with fierce determination, while Alana steadies herself behind you. You know Eruption Harbinger will not be down for long, as its core is already solidifying, cracks in its chest fusing back together with magma. Alana points out weak point revealed from blast. It is crystalline core embedded in Harbinger's sternum. Destroying that core is the only way to end this. You exchange quick glance with Alana, both of you realizing that direct hits a core from higher angle will shatter it completely. You throttle Bike, gaining altitude as you soar over jagged rock formation. Harbinger lunges below, but you use its outstretched arm as makeshift ramp, launching yourselves even higher. Mountains crumble beneath its mighty tread. As you ascend, Alana steadies herself on Bike, her eyes narrowing with resolve. She pulls out small, glowing device from her pocket, her Harbinger orb infused with concentrated plasma energy. You know she's going to throw it at core on your next pass. Bike arcs in middle of air, positioning you for downward strike. Harbinger's fully aware of danger, so it raises its arm and molten claws defensively. Alana takes deep breath, timing through perfectly. As you dive towards creature, she hurls glowing orb with all her strength. It streaks towards iridescent core. Time freezes at moment of impact, with light engulfing Harbinger's chest when orb detonates. Air vibrates deafening crack, then everything is illuminated with blinding incandescent light. Orb detonates cataclysmically, fracturing air into glass shards. Harbinger reels, its armor peeling back as molten light tears through its nuclear heart. Streams of emerald plasma lash out, curling into atmosphere. Gravity returns. Your Bike hits Blastwave's arc. Shock flips you, tires spinning against nothing. Alana's scream is swallowed by howl of ruptured sky, her arms flailing for grip. You yank handlebars as weight of world pulls you into oblivion. Through sheer instincts, you ride curve of fallout cloud, tires spinning against photonic debris. Harbinger crumples into expanding crater of its own mass ejection. Orb at its core collapses into fading singularity. Green-black plasma pours upward, chasing you. You descend hard. Bike slams into fractured ground, skidding across irradiated dust and glowing roots. You crash, then roll, tangled in steel and limbs. Pain surges in your ribs, but Bike still hums. You do not stop. Covered in plasma ash and heart, you pull Alana back onto seat, then speed through splintering remains. Harbinger's fortress is more memory than matter, as its silhouette dissolves behind you like a fading nightmare. You stumble upon one of Interstellar Cloud's pastures, nestled within space-time manifolds as hidden oases. Here are tranquil pockets amidst swirling maelstroms. Pasture's lush grass fields stretch far, while stardust streams meander throughout. As you roam pasture, you encounter fruit trees and luminous flowers blooming. This pasture remembers all who have passed through great maelstrom. It holds their stories in its stardust, their dreams in its light. Alana pets Space Goat. This place is beautiful. How does it exist here, in the middle of all this chaos? We drift into mires. Existence is fleeting. There are oscillations in local interstellar cloud's radiation budget. Element 1 to the 2-6 accumulating in clouds increases precipitation chance. Local interstellar cloud regions with higher concentrations of plasma with more activity precipitate. Its utmost is cosmic ray maximum. Element 1 to the 2-6 flows into ground, plasma drifts into star spots, and comets are coronal mass injections. Local interstellar clouds spiral into star spots and accelerate out as stellar particle events. Star spots attract local interstellar cloud due to density and overwhelming depth. Plasma stays inside finite volume if no electric current crosses surfaces, and orthogonal components of curl are zero at every surface point. Hole boring processes enable laser pulses to propagate through overdense plasma due to laser ponderomotive forces. Mixed colloidal toroidal magnetic field configurations are in radiative stellar interiors. Laser cluster interactions ionize, accelerating hot electrons into highly charged ions from beam reactions in electric charge explosions. Interstellar cloud drifts into densest, closest star spot. On ephemeral particulates, you drift towards worlds cloaked in inky blackness. Interstellar cloud disperses into coronal mass injection, leaving you floating disparately. Starspot Harbinger emerges from shadows. It radiates synchronously with ephemeral cycles of galactic cosmic radiation, shielding itself from hard electromagnetic disintegration. Starspot sheds layers of polymorphous states in refractory defense. Starspot is a dense, dark, sinister, conniving, convincing, bloody-eyed Harbinger. Starspot exudes solidity as it is forged from stellar cores. It is unsettling, existing on fringes of abyss where light struggles to penetrate. Every aspect of Starspot is calculated, plotting behind scenes to further its hidden agendas. Starspot sways your opinions with ease, disguising its intentions behind facades. Starspot creates mirages to alter perception. Do you seek refuge to escape galactic cosmic radiation's lethal grasp? Will you pay any price to live? You enter abyss with Starspot Harbinger sheltering you from strenuous forces that would have torn you asunder. You pass through planes where colors invert, then gravity pushes incomprehensibly, where spacetime folds, then unfurls. As it all converges upon you, palpable tension emerges as though life is in balance. Starspots are cooler than surrounding areas and appear dark when observed in certain wavelengths of light. Starspots are magnetically induced features on stellar surfaces. Your surroundings liquefy then solidify in mesmerizing cycles. Gravity flexes capriciously when you traverse unforgotten planes. Slipstream corridors are temporary tunnels between space-time manifolds. You arc through one starspot after another, careening through warps. Light eats Starspot Harbinger's darkness to shield you from gamma rays that would have shredded you to atoms. Brace yourself, because entry is infinitesimal compared to realities within. With that warning, you plunge inwards. Antimatter walls constrict tighter and tighter around you, until Harbinger's metallic hide grazes against engulfing light. Then, passage cracks open into oblivion. Coronal breach stays open for fleeting instant. As plasma front expands, gap rapidly reseals. Resealing suppresses cosmic ray bombardment. This merciful remission extends lifespans. Periodic eruptions tear open galactic cosmic ray shell. Area swaths are uninhabitable during periodic eruptions, including where you land. Gravity takes hold where densest interstellar cloud concentrations are collected in aftermath of neutron star crust expulsions. Kernel plasma condensations amplify through fusion. Starspots are interconnected network of holographic black holes. You journey into starspots, approaching galactic cosmic ray maximum in time. Voyage is fraught with challenges, navigating through treacherous asteroid fields and magnetic storms. You find yourself confronted by a swirling starspot. Your heart races with anticipation when you plunge inside of it. When you pass through holographic black holes' event horizon, you encounter swirling, colorful patterns where reality folds in upon itself. Stellar consciousness is formed by rapidly igniting into star. As Star Harbinger's brilliant photospheric surfaces take shape, stellar evolutionary cycle continues. Star Harbinger darts, then flows, careening through chromosphere. You and Starspot ride on Star's back through area that has been expunged by volcanic eruptions. Then you crash onto Planet X. Starspot rotates about in gravitational ease to make itself familiar with new planet's physics. Immediately surrounding you are corpses from Journey, proving that reaching Planet X is extremely deleterious and stressing. It is near impossible to land on Planet X, as it is obfuscated by stellar accretion and constantly cut off. You and Starspot Arbinger stand in silence as stark reality of Planet X sinks in with macabre scene before your eyes. Starspot rotates until it orients itself, small comfort of which is overshadowed by corpses strewn all over in apparent shapes. Those whose faces are still recognizable as once belonging to living, sentient beings are stuck in immortal, anguishing screams. Starspot drifts impassively among mangled cadavers, unbothered by extreme visions of mortality. You recoil in rare flicker of unease. You understand immense toll of breaching this place. To not become corpse strewn on Planet X, enter gap that opens up during ejection when star eschews nearly all plasma for an instant before regeneration. Entrance opens to overflow that suppresses galactic cosmic radiation before resealing. Time plasmatic gravity during cataclysmic stellar expulsions, when immense superheated plasma clouds erupt from volatile stellar surfaces. Stellar Wind Arbinger directs plasma flow stream for you to navigate through roiling plasma maelstrom, then hit ever-shifting gap with precisely when it forms. If you are too early or too late, inconceivable tidal forces subatomically shred matter. By calculating precise vectors, then modulating gravimetric lensing during coronal ejection peak intensity, infinitesimally open window is momentarily subspace conduit that microscopic organisms slip into by threading plasmoid needle. Streams of ionized element 1 particles are accelerated by magnetic pressure gradients in stellar coronae. As Stellar Wind Arbinger spreads its phoenix wings, burning feathers composed of streamers emanate out until thermal radiation dominates energy transport. Falling material increases temperature in lower convection zone when it becomes indistinguishable from stellar plasma. Seething mass of charged particles is in thermal equilibrium with nuclear furnace at core. When star consumes, it then expels. From its winged appendages flow stellar wind streams that carve channels through surrounding space. Each feather of its phoenix plumage is separate plasma jet accelerated by magnetic reconnection events that convert stored magnetic energy into kinetic motion. Blown plasma erupts from star spots with velocities that strip atmospheres from planets multiple astronomical units away. Plasma streams with spectral signatures of highly ionized elements 26, 27, and 28 are dredged up from star's core through convective mixing. Flash-heated plasma arcs follow magnetic field lines that extend light years into space. Radial outflows are helical plasma tornadoes rotating around magnetic flux tubes. Each ejection creates bow shock when it collides with interstellar medium. Shock fronts compress, then heat ambient gas, creating expanding plasma shells of synchrotron radiation. Star is surrounded by concentric light spheres that are fossilized remains of ejection events still expanding outward. Stellar Wind Arbinger's wings are magnetic field manipulators that create current sheets which collimate ejection material. Interstellar clouds continually dive into star spots, each one adding fuel to stellar furnace to generate material for next spectacular ejection. Cycle is self-sustaining, with matter falling in, plasma blowing out. Stellar Wind Arbinger orchestrates plasma, expanding outward in multiple directions. Arbinger creates preferential ejection axes with increased velocities. Jets carve channels through interstellar medium to create low-density bubbles. Stellar flares unleash interplay of magnetic fields and plasma dynamics. Rhythm of stellar flares reveal patterns for predicting occurrences. Prediction allows spacecraft to take precautionary measures against harmful radiation. By anticipating intensity, you approach region where stars' magnetic fields intertwine, causing turbulence and potential for powerful stellar flares. Magnetic flux balances, then serenity envelops stellar surface. Serenity exists temporarily before system collapses into lower energy state through violent magnetic energy release. Current concentrations develop boundaries between regions of different magnetic polarity and current density. Stellar Flare Arbinger calculates precise moment when magnetic configuration reaches instability in 47.3 seconds. Accumulated magnetic stress exceeds tensile strength of stellar atmosphere to trigger magnetic energy release that liberates 10 to the 32 electric work of stored magnetic energy. At predicted moment, it erupts with 1 billion element 1 bombs detonating simultaneously. Energy release site becomes stellar particle accelerator for protons and electrons. Electric fields generated during energy liberation process reach 10 billion degrees as they spiral along organizational magnetic field lines to produce gamma ray emission through synchrotron radiation. When primary magnetic concentration collapses, sudden reduction in magnetic pressure creates vacuum in local magnetic field configuration. Surrounding magnetic flux concentrations are no longer held in check by pressure equilibrium. To predict stellar flares, trace volcanic lightning surges to mantle wind flux, to hadron wind temperature thresholds, to plasma saturation vectors, to anomalous electron orbital shifts in geologically stable zones. Coronal mass ejection Harbinger strains out entanglement to expel charged particles. Once through gap, galactic cosmic radiation floods into a encompassing void. Primal forces uninhibited by distances and magnetic fields overwhelm you. To endure onslaught requires extraordinary shielding against electromagnetic ionization, as anything not radiation hardened is atomically torn asunder. Coronal mass ejection Harbinger emerges, then hurls crust from magma chambers below. Barely able to predict mass disruption pattern, you use plasmospheric hiss amplifier to track magma movement, then dodge initial attack. You reflect beam accompanying mass straight up to limit of gravitational well. Only by timing its movements precisely behind cyclic eruptions of stellar plasma do you find merciful reprieve. Even then, atmospheric interference makes light passages tenuous. Coronal mass ejection is spun from gravitational singularities. It regards you with an inscrutable alien gaze. Discerning intelligence and intent from something so far removed from conventional consciousness is impossible. Your device detects subtle vibrations through planet's crust. Plasmospheric hiss amplifiers activate, triangulating subterranean magma flows, catalyzing coming eruption. Ground vents lava jets that hurl molten planetary crust, meant to reduce you to atomic components. Relying on Alana's ability to perceive alternate light spectra, you narrowly track chaotic movements incrementally between each gamma ray flash. Reacting with singular focus, you unleash torrent of thermal acoustic energy directly upwards, angling disruptive beam trajectories to be swallowed by gravitational edges. Escalation directs mass to barely achieve escape velocity, rather than looping back to consume you. If you fall here, your light is extinguished among countless other voyagers whose remains litter this hellscape. Persevere or perish. You venture into stellar systems, exploring exoplanets. Colonies flourish on planets and moons. During prosperous times, immense stellar storms wreak havoc. Unprecedented charged particle bursts hurtle towards inhabitants. Stellar event overwhelms shielded systems. Communications falter, power grids fail, then life support resources become scarce. Electron Cloud was not willing to go this far, while Starspot is also gone now. You encounter vast nebular complex that stretches across parsecs. Its luminous gas clouds pulse with their own inner consciousness. Nebula Harbinger belts aloud.
You have made it this far, but can you take much more?
Who are you?
I am higher iteration of electron cloud, same phenomenon as nucleosynthesis, gas, clouds, and interstellar clouds. I am Nebula!
Is that how this works? Each experience I have just incites more mass for more powerful detonations?
Yes, you are progressing towards light cone limit. If you reach it before this world detonates, you go home. Your toughest tasks await you. Key lies in controlling critical mass threshold, where gravitational forces overcome thermal pressure and gas pressure gradients. Stellar artistry requires manipulation of magnetic field geometries, shockwave interference patterns, and angular momentum distribution.
You watch Nebula inject turbulent energy through magnetohydrodynamic waves, creating collision zones where different gas streams meet, then compress each other. It triggers fragmentation cascades, where large molecular clouds break apart into smaller, denser cores that become stars. By controlling opacity of gas through selective ionization of trace metals, Nebula Harbinger enables thermal radiation to escape from collapsing cores. Higher opacity traps heat to slow collapse.
Star formation occurs from spiral density waves maintaining galactic structure, then bars and resonances drive gas inflow toward galactic centers. Feedback process regulates star formation. Horizon bends into infinite light compression. Nebula pulses in radiant defiance, yet space around it fractures, geometry buckling into oriented loops. Vectors twist into null directions. Black hole Harbinger is fueled by infinite dimensional vector space it inhabits. Within black hole's domain, forces compress matter into tightening density degrees. Black hole rips asunder existence by forming event horizon singularities wrapped in chronological insulation. With contact, nebula unravels as it is diffeomorphically annihilated. Its coordinates are erased from all reference frames. Stars blink out where its mass influences curvature. Black holes seep into area, twisting once radiant fields into darkness. Black figure glitches with agitation. With a surge of energy, black hole's glitches twist, then contort. Its abyssal eyes flicker, one in past, one in future. Alana's body flickers half in coordinate space, half out of it. Photons bend in arcs to create visual echoes where Alana sees infinite versions of herself at different stages of temporal decay. Each reflection shows her fate stretched across event horizon, her information content scattered across holographic boundary of black hole's domain. Nebula is stunned and stretched apart as it's eradicated by black hole. When stress is on it, infinitely condensed nebula becomes too large to contain. Cataclysmic spatial ruptures occur. Where most concentrated plumes interact with black holes' extreme gravitic influences, ejected particles coalesce and accrete into superheated disks of orbital material surrounding central singularity. From within accretion disk maelstroms, Harbinger develops into hypercondensed sentience. Born of previous cosmos ashes, then burned to entropic oblivion by black holes' attacks, accretion disk steadies into recycled matter. Behind it, spiraling halo of recombined baryonic ash sinks. You are debris with purpose.
Accretion disk soars forth from geyser. Air pulses with elemental prowess as its eyes fixate on black hole. Accretion disk raises its hand, then ground beneath black hole's feet quivers. Rocks and minerals surge to form stone barricade that encircles accretion disk. With focused energy burst, black hole shatters encircling barricade to send stone fragments flying in all directions. Energy clash permeates shockwaves that disturb geysers, painting skies with prismatic displays. Angular debris and vitrified tectonics spiral outward as both Harbingers exchange volleys. Black hole pulls in condensing space, reducing terrain into one-dimensional streaks, while accretion disk explodes outwards, flinging reconstructed particles and magnetized solar fragments into calculated intercepts. Black hole's temporal eyes narrow when it witnesses this unprecedented resistance. Impossible! You are mere debris, cosmic refuse, orbiting inevitable. How do you maintain coherence against my dimensional collapse? Accretion disk spins faster, its luminous disk generating intense magnetic field lines. Because I am not fighting against your gravity. Every particle of my being has already fallen past your event horizon and emerged transformed. Accretion disk is supported by gas pressure and radiation pressure opposing gravity, resulting in flared disk whose thickness increases with radial distance due to decreased gravitational compression. Vertical density and temperature profiles form stratified layers. Dense, hot midplane with tenuous, cooler atmosphere contrasts with optically thick regions where radiative diffusion dominates energy transport. Collimated outflows generate toroidal magnetic fields through magnetic centrifugal acceleration that twist to fling material outward. Jets remove angular momentum for mass inflow to proceed efficiently. Outflow slow with distance from base and entraining surrounding material volume. You transport away on pulsar wind Harbinger. Through phase entrainment, you lock into emitted periodicity for minimal energy expenditure. Particle streams follow straightest possible paths through curved spacetime, harnessing rotational energy maintained for millions of years. This is crazy, as penguins cannot fly. I know! Pulsar wind is an inevitable culmination of interstellar clouds floating into black holes, growing into accretion disks, and blown off into space. Pulsar wind blows accretion disks along minimal energy vector through highly energetic relativistic outflows composed predominantly of charged particles and electric magnetic fields launched from rapid rotation. Pulsar wind is driven by electric magnetic torque, rotational inertia, and magnetospheric activity. It is conduit between rotational energy and surrounding interstellar medium, distributing energy and momentum. Air grows frigid when pulsar wind Harbinger breathes chilled plasma. Collimated beams from its beak free space by reducing thermal noise to absolute stillness in localized volumes. Pulsars burst forth jets of dense plasma clouds, which continuously inflate outward as expelled material rapidly decompresses. Pulsar Harbinger bursts dazzling display of light that makes darkness recoil. Pulse is determined by alignment with impact inclination angle between magnetic and spin axes. Pulsar bursts are sudden conversion of stored electromagnetic potential into kinetic energy through plasma channel particle acceleration. Pulsar polar gaps cause vacuum breakdown of electron-positron pairs that annihilate. Lightning is atmospheric pulsar emission, where charge separation creates electric potential differences to overcome insulation resistance, then trigger rapid plasma, electric magnetic channel formation. Magnetic energy releases through particle acceleration, then plasma heating. You see particle acceleration in your peripheral vision. Electrons spiral up magnetic field lines. You are caught in cascade multiplication when your bioelectric fields incite pair production. Light bursts everywhere, annihilating from pulsar. Harbinger is destroyed while new one emerges. Nova Harbinger triggers explosions that rip through space-time between stellar systems. Nova participates in birth of new stars and creation of new worlds. Its actions, while devastating in short term, ultimately clear way for life's emergence. Supernova explosions reveal neutron star cores. Outer stellar layers are expelled in explosion, while remaining core collapses to form neutron star. Neutron star densities have atomic nuclei with magnetic fields generated by rapid rotation. Planetesimals coagulate, then dust condenses into rocky shells. New atmospheres flicker into being. Nova explodes gamma rays. Harbinger splits open at chest, revealing furnace, rotating sphere of crystalline quark-gluon matter. Thermonuclear fusion mirrors strong nuclear force, binding quarks within hadrons. Nova's core ignites from binding energy. When stellar material reaches critical density, nuclear forces overcome electromagnetic repulsion. Magnetic field reorganization follows identical principles to ferromagnetic domains snapping into alignment. Harbinger's magnetosphere restructures, field lines reorienting in cascading waves that mirror point transitions in ferromagnetic materials. Phase transitions magnetize metal in stellar plasma. Plasma ejections follow pressure release dynamics when magma chambers reach critical overpressure. Stellar convection zones overturn Mansell plumes, carrying heavy elements from nuclear furnace cores to surface layers where they are expelled. Nova expels you into hypernebula. Hypernebula Harbinger narrowly misses becoming irretrievably lost to oblivion when it decompresses. It survives approaching event horizon of absolute nothingness, now bearing scars of disillusion where its consciousness stretched thin. Background curvature prevents eternal collapse by forming protective matrix to hold Harbinger's consciousness together during decompression. Torrential outpourings of decompressing hypernebulae interact with centrifugal forces of originating dynamos to coalesce plasma currents. Currents orbit each other as magnetized moons, shifting barycenter location. You are carried gently by subtle pressure gradients. You drift into cold chasm where existence is revoked. Harbinger emerges from within decompression void. Collapse from roiling nova enables void to devour light around it. You enter realm where atoms stop vibrating as possibility of kinetic motion is removed. Electrons crystallize in orbitals when vibrations freeze during propagation. Solidified sound waves are suspended in chasm's depths. Acoustic energy transforms into geometric patterns of frozen air. Your awareness slows, then crystallizes. Thoughts that once flowed as warm currents become sluggish, then solid, achieving cognitive stillness. Ilana's eyes light up when encountering electromagnetic nuclear atomic orbitals. Upswelling forces catalyze formation from infinite void. Annihilating galaxies form expanses of recycled space-time. Along electromagnetic nuclear atomic orbitals accretion, Tidal stresses build up from interactions between intersecting breach planes that concentrate then rupture. Ruptures erupt into jets, where electromagnetic field density fuses virtual particles into real mass. Boundaries between orbitals fray, collapse, then reconnect into magnetic flux ropes. When tidal collapses converge, orbital synthesis occurs where electromagnetic, nuclear, and gravitational wave functions intersect. Continuous nuclear gravitational pressure stabilizes an exact counter resonance. Electromagnetic gravitational nuclear orbitals are comprised of multi-wavelength gamma and radio waves. Gamma ray emission from electromagnetic gravitational nuclear orbitals locates signatures unique to dark matter annihilation and decay. Gravitational lensing effects converge electromagnetic gravitational nuclear orbitals with dark matter. Electromagnetic gravitational nuclear orbitals are an interplay between half antimatter and matter bound in metastable equilibrium. Galaxies stabilize when vortical matter streams coalesce into coherent formation. Galactic wind Harbinger guides their flow. Galactic wind's pair of majestic wings span length of its body and generate bursts of gamma radiation. Galactic wind's wings ripple with memory of supercluster collisions, folding space-time as it streaks across cosmic filament. Every movement of its wings sends gravitational harmonics through intergalactic medium, shepherding ionized gas and particulate jets towards galactic nuclei. As it arcs through space, galactic wind carves lanes of coherent turbulence in intracluster medium, channeling chaotic debris from past collisions into structural galactic halo. Galactic dusk is seeded by compression waves, then energized by gamma radiation bursts that spiral from its feathered edges. You pass through regions where baryonic collapse is stalled for eons with suspended voids, now reignited as matter reorients to collect galactic wind's design. Harbinger's wings sweep through dormant regions. Gamma radiation bursts ionize ancient gas, which magnetic field lines carried by galactic wind thread through. When compressive forces reach criticality, cataclysmic boundary breaches occur. Blazar Harbinger incites beams along its spiral axis of charged rotation. Quasar outflows are particle jets expelled from black holes, culminating in streams of energy and matter. Quasars, pulsars, blazars, and magnetars are concentrated amalgamations of violent active galactic nuclei with variable luminosity, superluminal motions in radio components, gamma ray emissions, and absence of spectral lines. Blazar sequence on spherical compact accretion leads into interstellar mediums. Blazars interact with pervasive photon fields to produce electron-positron pairs. Spectral energy distribution is ratio of core luminosity to cavity power potential. Ahead looms swirling vortex, blinding white-blue beams shooting into it. You drift with your propulsion pack sputtering, communications crackling with static. Gravitational readings are off, so immediate course correction takes place. Spiraling energy becomes lion head with flowing mane of stellar fire and piercing blue eyes that shine through distant stars. Blazar Harbinger continues to materialize out of swirling stellar energy. Its paws reach out. You try desperately to change course, but are caught in its gravitational pull. Blazar Harbinger's jaws open. Blue lightning crackles between its teeth as it lunges towards you. You tumble helplessly as Cosmic Lion surges forward, suit glowing with emergency power. It is a futile gesture as Blazar Harbinger closes its jaws around you. Instead of a violent end, you dissolve into particles of light that join energy patterns of Lion's mane. Ilana grips your arm, her eyes reflecting swelling core. Hypernova Harbinger's cyclopean eye dilates when it inhales energy from collapsed stellar veins. Hyperbeam Cyclops eye unleashes core collapse explosion. Shockwave shatters planets into particulate ribbons. Ionized Element 2 tears itself free from orbitals, bending vacuum as neutrino fronts move. Light outraces light until detonations fold magnetospheres. You feel radiation pressure pushing you forward as you outrun expanding shell. Cyclops' eye finally closes, its wrath spent. In silence that follows, you feel relief surviving stellar death. Stars, galaxies, and nebulae are dispersed as cosmic microwave background radiation. Harbinger bends spacetime by flicking its majestic tail. You are inside blizzard of comets cascading through winds. Amidst icy comets, herd of cosmic microwave background radiation Harbingers gracefully swim through currents. Cosmic microwave background radiation arbingers reflect splendor of cometary blizzard around them. As you approach Herd, they swim effortlessly through comet-laden currents. Blizzard surrounds you, and cosmic microwave background radiation arbingers greet you with melody resonating through winds. Entranced by their ethereal beauty, you extend your hand. One arbinger swims closer, acknowledging you with gentle nuzzle. You journey together through radiation currents. Supervoid Arbinger emerges into world as haunting shadows. You enter into twisted realms where reality unravels to nothing. Supervoid makes you react to malevolent entities lurking in shadows with whispering voices. Cosmic microwave background radiation Arbinger you are riding jumps and shakes until you fall off of it. As you tumble from its trembling back, you descend into vacant expanse. Supervoids are enormous regions with lower matter density than surrounding space. They form due to vacuum expansion of matter distribution. You watch helplessly as remaining galaxies around accelerate away. Expansion tears apart bonds that hold matter together. You look down and have no feet, your limbs dissolving into starlit sand, drifting away into orbits. You are pulled through tunnel of fossilized screams, where walls are carved with entire civilization's last thoughts. We did not adapt fast enough. Our quantum nets failed. We tried to warn others. Ilana experiences vast information network, where galaxy clusters are nodes for cosmic filaments to carry data. You see every black hole, star formation, and gravitational wave connected in cosmic web. Cosmic microwave background radiation ejected from supervoids disperses to form cosmic web, tangled filamentary strings of proto-galactic matter. Cosmic web arbingers galactic ignition nodes create stars, galaxies, and superclusters. Particles are swept up into coherent currents. According to Cascade, electromagnetic fields create gravitational effects, which trigger nuclear processes to form atomic orbitals. Where does it lead? Alana sees pathways to observable points. Cosmic web arbingers give me positioning system, so we can navigate anywhere using filament network. Arbinger responds by illuminating specific nodes in web, places where new galaxy clusters will form, strengthening communication network. It shows you Genesis routes where you need to seed life to strengthen network. Alana rides Cosmic Web as surfer, with Arbinger as her guide. Together, they rewire energy for optimal life distribution. Gravitational dark flow vectors organize galactic structure of fledgling cosmos. Within dark flow attractor basins, Arbinger emerges with wide-spanning midnight black wings. Environment warps around dark flow Arbinger, whose mastery overshadows cloaked-in darkness to evade detection. Harbinger follows plasma currents older than first stars. Its wings carve channels through quantum vacuum, stretching space-time for galaxy clusters to align. Created existence first explodes in progenitor Big Bang. It begins cycle of birth, evolution, and renewal, recreating itself outward in fractal unfoldings from first embers. Big Bang destroys consciousness. With roar that echoes through space, it unleashes devastating volcano eruptions that send torrents of molten rock hurtling to obliterate everything in their path. You and Alana flash from existence, no longer to be found. You had no time to react, despite following a long plasma cycle. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. All possible homes are gone. Planetary embers are gone until no volcanic ash remains. Culmination of eruptions is peak extent of possibilities. Culmination of all eruptions exhausts phase space of matter. Tension is stretched beyond topological confinement. Its body is no longer mass, but convergence of unrealized curvature.